First of all, the fisheye view is excellent, and it's really great to get that kind of slightly different view of the solar panels on the roof of this primary school, which is Brunswick Primary School in Hove.
Yeah.
Before we delve into the renewable energy and solar panel side of things, I just wanted to point out the seagull there as well, because actually I think although it's quite a small seagull, it's not very dominant in the picture, because of its central position. It actually just really speaks to the combination of renewable energy and biodiversity, and actually how we have to think of these two as connected issues nowadays.
For me, it positions the image in Brighton and Hove quite identifiably, And you put it in the background as well. You can see that's the floodlights of the Hove cricket ground as well. So it's to me, it's very I know that picture's been taken. The seagull is the on the crest of the football team as well. It's kind of the image of the city. So, as well as the nature element, as you say as well. To me, it was a very definably Brighton and Hove image. BHESCo, as you said in the introduction, it stands for Brighton and Hove Energy Services Cooperative. I always think a good description of who we are and what we do is if you read that name backwards. So we're a cooperative who provide energy services primarily in the area of Brighton and Hove. And what that means is we're a not-for-profit social enterprise. We design and develop clean energy projects around the city. So that's renewable energy projects as well as energy efficiency projects. And they're all financed using community fundraising mechanisms. So we typically have a community share offer. So people can invest in those projects. They receive a financial return. And it means that the customer for that project, so in this example, Brunswick Primary School, doesn't have to pay anything up front to get their energy measures installed. So it's basically a way to remove any barriers that might prevent property owners from taking action on climate change.
And how did this particular project come about? Did they approach you or did you approach them? Why Brunswick Primary School in particular?
Well, Brighton and Hove City Council were one of the first in the country to set a target of net zero emissions by 2030. And as part of that, they had a tender process for all of the schools that they own in the city, where different organizations could pitch and quote to install solar panels for the different schools. This particular school, as I say, was part of a larger community share offer as part of 7 other schools, where over the course of one summer we installed thousands. Well, it was over 1,000 solar panels on 8 different sites across the city, and that was all just funded by people investing in those projects.
Yeah, that's something that I like about this photo as well. That it's not a particularly niche solution, but it is a solution that hasn't been scaled up yet and absolutely can be. There's real potential for, why wouldn't every primary school in the UK install solar panels on their roofs?
Yeah, well, I think our advice for any property owner, whether that's a school or local authorities who might be looking to get solar panels on their leisure centre or community centre, I think the first thing to do would be to do some research and see if there's an active community energy group in that area. There's about 350 community energy groups, I think, across the country, who will have the experience, and the kind of technical know-how of how to deliver these projects. So I totally understand that a facilities manager of a school has a million other things that they really need to do on a regular basis to keep the school operating. So by partnering with a community energy group, that would alleviate some of the stress and perhaps fill in some of the technical knowledge gaps that a business manager might not know about. Secondarily, I suppose, if a school wants to have solar panels installed but perhaps doesn't know how to go about it, perhaps they could have a meeting with the parents, perhaps themed around an inspirational climate change film such as the Before the Flood Leonardo DiCaprio one, or even some of the David Attenborough ones on BBC or something like that. So to have a bit of an event to get people together to talk about it, discuss ideas, speak with the school governors and the parents and the neighbours of that school about how they could raise the funds for it. I guess just make it exciting, make it a project that people want to be involved in.
And I think the other important aspect here, which you've touched on in your caption, is that the solar panels will save the school £87,000 on energy bills over a 20-year period. So break that down into an annual saving. That's around sort of £4,000 or so per year, I believe, in energy bills.
I know in the first year of that particular installation, the amount of electricity generated by those solar panels exceeded our expectations, and they actually saved it was £5,000 or £6,000 in that first year. So
that's a great example of the transition to sustainability. I think that if you find a solution that actually, even if you don't care about the environment, you really want to save some money probably. And in this case, regardless of the environmental benefits and the climate change benefits, you just want to save the school a few £1,000s a year. And even then, solar panels are part of that solution and part of that cost saving exercise.